So today we're going to do a little metal detecting. We are a little bit west of Nome, in an area that was heavily camped back during the gold rush that started about 1900 and lasted strong for about 10 years. During that time period, this beach would have been covered with miners. There would have been a sea of white tents, and they would have had their sluice boxes set up right here on the beach, mining the sand, because they say that the sands of Nome, Alaska were golden sand. You just reach into it and pick out the gold. Well, it wasn't exactly true, but there was a lot of gold in the sand back during that time, before it had been turned over like 5 or 6 times by all the other miners that followed in their footsteps. But anyway, if you look down the beach, you can see some tops of some houses. That's actually where there was a military fort called Fort Davis that the military founded in 1900 to help keep control over what was going on here in Nome. At that time, there was really no law in Nome. The town went from like almost a zero population to like 40,000 people within a year. And it was a very lawless, dangerous place to live. And there's just lots of cool, interesting stories about how freaked out people were. So that's Fort Davis in the distance, and you can see there's some dredge boats here. Those are miners that will go out just a little ways and they'll suck the sand up through dredge pipes and process it right there on the water. But I wanted to show you something over here that kind of gives you an idea what was going on. But do you know what that is? This is the lid to a wood stove. So this is an indication that we are right where the miners probably camped back then. And again, they were only here for about 10 years. And then the beaches kind of got played out and the inland claims got consolidated like they always do by big corporations, and the miners skedaddled. But they're back, and they do very well offshore. At least they have over the past 10 years. Now, here's the thing, okay? I was here last night metal detecting, but I didn't have all my gear with me, my camera gear, so I didn't videotape anything. So I'm going to show you what I found here last night in about 2 hours of digging, and then we're going to do a little digging. There's nothing really crazy special here, but all this came from this area. These are modern coins, probably lost by beachgoers, or, you know, could be, you know, some miners out here too. This coin is a 1965 American quarter. Unfortunately, it's not silver. The silver coins were just a year or two before, and one way you can tell is if you look at the edge, you can see there's a little bit of copper showing. So you know this is a clad coin. It's not mostly silver. This is one of two of my interesting finds. This is a watch fob. There would have been a piece of metal that came up across here where you could have put a strap through there. And it says, I'm not sure what it says. It says luck, something luck. And it has a gold pan with a pick and a shovel. So that's pretty cool. And this coin is actually a 1900 Indian head penny. So this could very well have been lost by the original miners that were camped on this beach. Some modern bullets. Again, the fort is very close by. This is a brass nail, which is probably out of a ship. This is the outside of a pocket watch. It would have been a winder pocket watch. I got a spoon, a rifle pistol casing, a couple odds and ends, some interesting lead. Of course, you find a lot of lead along the ocean. And this rock here is cool. Oh, they call them holy rocks, not because they're religious in nature, but because they have holes through them. No idea what makes these holes. You can see they taper inward, and there's lots of rocks around here with holes just like this. You can see this one kind of started there. No idea how they're made, and if any of you guys could tell me, man, I would love to know, because they don't know either up here. And they're in many of the different rocks, and some of them will have 5 or 6 holes. They're really cool looking, but if anyone knows, I really would appreciate it, because it's driving me nuts not knowing what does that. See how it's tapered? All right, so we'll break out the AT Max, which is what I'm using up here, and we'll do a little digging. It's really working well. And I'm hoping that we'll find a gold coin today, a double eagle, a giant gold coin. I hope you're hoping too. So let's get to metal detecting. We're just going to hit this area again that I hit last night. I don't know how much more we'll find, but I was only here for a couple hours. Wish me luck. for a gold double eagle. Those are giant gold coins. $20 gold piece. We'll see. So this is how we're going to set it up here. Just like AT Pro, AT Gold, we're going to go ahead and turn it on. And I'm going to hunt in all metal. I have discovered that the all metal mode is really, really awesome with this machine. All right, so don't forget to ground balance. And to ground balance, you just hold the button in here like this. Pump it up and down. And if you look, you can see all the red sand down there. That's very mineralized. This looks like a grate off of that piece of stove that we just found. That's probably a grate. You know, even though we're in Nome and there's tons of gold around, you have to keep in mind that here on the beach, and this beach sand, the gold is very, very fine. It doesn't normally come in like nuggets that we'll be able to hear with a metal detector. Now we're going inland in just a couple days where we can find nuggets, but here it's very unlikely to find a nugget. But you know, we might find some cool historical relics. There's tons of these little nails in here. You can see they're all round nails, so we know that those are after the late 1800s. Those are all nails, so I'm not going to pick them all up. Because that's all we would do. That might have been a good sound right there. Yeah, 34 is probably a nail. Although the nuggets can read a little bit low, depending on how badly the soil is mineralized. That's probably that rock right there. Some of these rocks will give a sound. It's definitely not the rock, but I'm thinking it's a big piece of iron. Yeah, it moved. It's in here somewhere. It might be that rock, actually. No, it's not that rock. Alright, let's see what we have here. Something in here. Ah, it's cool. This is a bullet. I believe this is, I can't remember what it is. The soldiers at Fort Davis, which is right behind me, used a weird cartridge. It was only in production, or the Army only used it for a few years. And where I'm standing is actually on the backside of their practice firing range. These boats out here behind me find a lot of these fired bullets. And it was not surprising that I would find a few on the beach here, although from what I understand, out there's a lot of them. That's where I found the bullet, and I think there might be another signal right there. We're just going to kick it aside, and what we're trying to do is move it. We're trying to move it from where we originally heard it to somewhere else, because that way we know it's out of the ground. So we know it's out of the ground. It's going to be over here. Now spread it out, so it's going to be right on the surface, right in here. Maybe. Might be that thing on the rock. Might be that rock right there. What that is? I guess that's zinc. Looks like zinc, doesn't it? See how it's kind of flaking off? Yeah, that's what it is. That would be post-mining stuff. I think if we were down here after a storm when the beaches were cut a little bit, it would do a lot better, but there's a ton of iron out here. That's probably another piece of a stove, although don't know for sure. Nice signal here, but you can look down and see it. It's just a piece of wire. I'll go ahead and carry that out of here. Here's another one of those rocks with a hole in it, and see, it's a tapered hole. I think it's a different kind of rock than the other one too, which is what is really baffling me. Don't know. It's a nice, interesting signal right here. I'm trying to get the wind to my back so you don't have to listen to it. Yeah, that's reading pretty good. Go ahead and dig that up. Hopefully we can just kick it out with our boot. Yeah, I heard something weird. Maybe not. So let's see. It's still reading pretty good. Might have to get the shovel out though. That's about the last boot kick we're gonna get. That's out, good. That still sounds good. Now there's a lot of melted aluminum on this beach too, so it's possible it could be that. You see it? Okay. All right, we'll bring the coil right here, and this makes it quicker. Well, first what we'll do is we'll pinpoint one more time. Okay, it's right there. So we know it's right in this area. And if we just pick this up, drag it over here, we know it's in my hand because it's beeping. I can feel it. It's aluminum, I do believe. Yeah, it's probably, you know, can. Although I don't know for certain. That's a pie plate! Pie plate! Yeah, I haven't found a pie plate in a while, but today's the day. Had a signal right here and dug it out, and it looks to be like a little piece of copper, I guess. There's a lot of this up here, just all different shapes and sizes. It's not the most wonderful find. I also want to show you something else. I'm gonna drop that in my bag. See this? This is kind of neat. This is called beach glass. And what it is, this is where a bottle was broken many, many years ago, and the glass has been tumbled by the ocean and the waves and whatnot, and it smoothed it out. And people collect this stuff. That's kind of cool, isn't it? They make jewelry and other things out of it. In fact, this part of the beach here in Nome is noted for that. There's a bunch of people down, not too far from me, right down there, that are collecting it. You know, people walk back and forth all day long looking for it. A lot of different colors. The red is the best color from what I've been told, the most rare. What I'm doing is I'm working my way along the edge here, because if I get over to the sand and rocks out there, I'm digging little pieces of melted aluminum down like a foot and stuff, and I'm tired of digging melted aluminum. So I'm just working my way along this bank where it's kind of eroded, and hopefully some of the older stuff might be exposed. We don't have much further to go. We can only go up to about those trucks, and then it's posted after that. I think there's Indian land up there, or Eskimo land. But I have a signal here. Well, just listen to it. I want you to hear how much iron is here. This is probably a lot from the camps. And you have to watch the meter to know if it's, when it's all metal, to know if it's iron or non-ferrous. But there's a lot of iron. I could kick it over into discriminate here and get rid of all of that, but I'm going to keep it in all metal. I did hear a good signal right in here. Read pretty good somewhere. Well, let me just show you something. So let's go ahead and kick it over to discriminate, and I'll let you listen to this same patch of ground. Hit the mode button. I'm going to put in 0. We're going to crank the iron discrimination up to about 35, which you have to hold the shift, push the shift button to do that, to get into that orange menu, which is a little backwards, but that's okay. So I use that button a lot. It only goes up to 44, but we'll back it down just a little bit. So we'll go over the same ground. Now it's in discriminate, about 40, and you'll notice it's much quieter. You can hear all the pops and crackles and stuff. Those little bits of iron we're going over. And we know we don't have to dig those at all. Unfortunately, we're almost to the end of the beach where we can go. I'm not really digging a whole lot except some pieces of aluminum. Again, I did kind of hunt this already. You know, I showed you the stuff in the beginning of the video. I have a decent signal here. Don't know what it is. We're gonna find out. All right, there. About underneath that dog track, I think. Nah, it's over here. It's a little jumpy, but it's reading good, so I don't think it's iron. I think I might have just seen it. Look like a piece of copper. Yeah, there it is. Oh, look at that. That is, well, I don't know. I thought it was a part of a clock, but it could be most anything, I suppose. May not be that old, might only be 10 or 20 years old, but it's copper, so at least it was a good sound. I guess it was popping a little bit and breaking up, maybe because of these holes, I don't know. Of course, there could be some iron in there too. Let's just check it just to see. Yeah, see, it's pretty clean now. Okay. So I can't take too much more of this, digging aluminum and little pieces of stuff like this, so we'll hunt another 10-15 minutes, work our way back to the four-wheeler and get into something else. Maybe do some panning. That might be fun. And definitely take a shirt off because it's really hot out here. I never dreamed it would be this hot up close to the Arctic Circle, but it's hot. Had a big signal here and I figured it was junk, so I didn't turn the camera on, but that's junk for sure. I'll go ahead and carry that out. So we spent about an hour and a half out here and I didn't find anything like really cool. I'm tired of digging aluminum. I went down into the surf some, but even the aluminum down there was down a foot. So I know the heavier stuff is going to be even deeper than that. And it's all sand here, there's no clay. So let me show you what we found, including what we found last night. Now you've seen most of this stuff probably in the beginning of the video, but we have a lot of melted lead. It's cool rock, saw a bunch of those. A lot of beach glass down in the surf too. I don't think I filmed any of it though, sorry. These are my newest finds. Got this piece here that I found on this hunt. And of course that bullet, which is pretty cool. There's just a lot of little chunks of stuff like this. And I'm just tired of digging it. And a lot of these things. I mean, that was used for something. It's got holes in it. Or a hole in it. All right, let's get out of the sun. I think I'm getting goofy.